All right, folks, here we are, recap of day one of the Southeast Regional Tournament. Some upsets, some surprises, and just about everything in between. I'm just going to go weight by weight, talk a little bit about some of the things I saw tonight. We got film of probably about roughly 20 matches or so between the first round and quarterfinals. I know I got 12 matches in quarterfinals on film for everyone to enjoy. 106, no. I think the biggest surprise is Cannon Hershey for me coming out into that semifinal. He looked real impressive with two first period pins, one over McCormick, and then over Victor Quintiliana from Interborough, who is a champ from the South. So he looked really good, and he gets Dominic Ortlip in the semis from Springford. I must say Ortlip beating Burke in the from Counts Rock North in one of the quarterfinals. Ortlip, the guy I think I talked about in my preview about, he didn't really see a lot of time in the lineup. He was in and out, and wins wrestle off late in the season. Now he's in the semifinals at regionals. So it's really a testament to him sticking with it, and really working to get in that starting lineup for Springford. And he's a match away from being in a regional final, so that's a definitely real feel good story for him. And in the top half of that bracket, it kind of went as I felt it would. We got Keanu Manuel with a pin and a tech fall, and he's coming out to wrestle Kevin Kinney from Rock South. I'm still sticking to my original prediction and Manuel winning there, and coming from the bottom. I'm really excited to see that Ortlip match, but the way Hershey's wrestling, Ortlip and Hershey, with the way Hershey's wrestling, my money's on him to win and to get to the final. But still, it's I think Manuel, it's his weight class to lose, more or less. So as we turn the page, we go to 113 pounds, and this one, I still think Maldonado and Findora are on a collision course to see each other in the finals. Ryan Laura looked good in his first match from Downtown East. In his second match, he came from behind on Matt McCahey from Abington to win 7-5. Keto Shah and Matt Martin was a great match. Went a little bit back and forth with Matt Martin coming out on top 10-8. And Findora was just working like pin and a decision over Quinn Smith from Springford 4-0. And again, I talked about Smith in the preview. He's tough. He's going to be in the mix tomorrow late in the day. So that semifinal kind of base, I think it's 3 of the 4 that I had in there. I could be wrong, maybe 2 of the 4. I definitely had Maldonado and Findora. I'm still sticking with those 2 in the final, and I'm going with Findora to win still. Think that he has what's taken. He's wrestling really well. 120, we could say a lot about this weight class. Kind of went the way I thought it would. I believe I went 4 for 4 on these in these semis of these kids. But the Killian Delaney Kyle Hauser match is going to be phenomenal to watch tomorrow, and that semifinal round starting at 11 a.m. For those that don't know, Russellback started 9:30, and the semis will start at 11. But Hauserman Delaney is going to be a good match. Hauserman's so tough on top, and he's dynamic in a lot of other places. Delaney's a good, and he, one of the things that I've always said about him is he shows up in the big tournaments, and I really think that he takes the fight to Hauserman. It's gonna be in his best interest. King and Lucier again, just wrestling really well. 2 pins to get to the semis, including a pin over Chris Cleland from Central Bucks West. Jimmy King with a win over Chris Green, champ from the South. Pinned him in a minute 42, and then he knocked off a real tough Kyle Miller from Quakertown that I didn't. I kind of felt that it would go that way, but Miller's pretty tough and has had a great season up to this point. But I totally expect Miller to wrestle back tomorrow. As I predicted earlier in the preview. So we'll go to 126, and Sammy McMonagle just looked tough as he has all season, pin in a major decision. And his semifinal opponent is going to be Kyle Waterman from Council Rock South. Another phenomenal semifinal match that we're going to see. Talked about in the preview. That's a match that in other years could or if the brackets fell a different way, we talked about being a regional final, and we're going to see it in the semis tomorrow. So, right there, back-to-back weight classes, we have 2 phenomenal matches, and worth price of admission there. On the bottom half of the bracket, we got Chance Babb, who's a champ from the north, with a 5-2 decision over Mason Grodzki, and then a hard-fought 6-4 win over Cooper Johnson from Oxford area. And I think I even had Cooper Johnson win at one. So Babb, continuing this run that he's on and having a great sophomore season, definitely impressed with that. Down at the bottom, we got lurking his none other than Luke Lucerne from Council Rock North. Lucerne definitely has the easier path to the finals than Waterman or McMonagle. Waterman and McMonagle are gonna have to spill their guts in the sense to get through that match and get to the final. And Lucerne maybe not so much. Lucerne was pretty workmanlike, 8-2 in his first match, and then beating Griffin Hollingsworth, who's scrappy as they come from Garnet Valley, 7-5 in the quarterfinals. I still expect McMonagle to be the champ when the dust settles tomorrow, but he's gonna have 2 tough matches, so see if how that goes for him as we go. I will say this: I was impressed with Nico Partsanakis from Pencrest. He wrestled Waterman real tough in the quarters. It was a 5-0 decision, but he was pushing Waterman in a lot of positions, and I was impressed with how he performed. Moving over to 132. The top half of the bracket fell the way I thought it would. You got Chase Barlow matching up with TJ England in one semifinal, and then in the other semifinal we have Zach Martin and Josh Villarengo, where I thought it would have been Zach Martin and Quinn Tobin. Villarengo with the 2-0 win in the quarterfinals. Villarengo with the 3-0 win in his first match over Jack Lato. Half Nelson's prediction of Jack Lato winning the regional title got thrown out the window there. And Tobin looked like he got hurt in the match. I'm not sure if it affected the outcome. I was on a different match filming and I just saw it off in the distance. England looked good in his first match with Isaiah Tucker. Tucker came right out, took him down, cut him. And then England settled in and really got to work in a 12-5 win. And then England again was workmanlike in a 4-1 win over Trent Cookersberger from Kennett. Barlow 8-4 over Daniel Hussein from Garnet Valley, and then he was in a tough match with Zach Lewis from Quakertown, which is a match that I got to have the opportunity to film, and won 6-3. It was a good match back and forth, a lot of scrambles, a lot of blood time by Barlow. They had to tape his face up, and he prevailed and overcame all those obstacles to get the win. Looking at 138 pounds, this bracket, I think everyone's bracket got a little bit messed up. Not the top half. Top half is solid. You got Keyway McNair is going to take on Dom DeFalco in the top half semifinal. McNair got there via 12-3 major decision in the first round and an 8-5 decision over Dominic Stoughton, who'd been wrestling real tough up to that point. And DeFalco came through with a tech fall and an 11-1 decision over Zach Rosansky from Upper Perk, and Rosansky had a 5-4 win over Palmer Delaney, the champ from the West in that first round matchup. We look at the bottom half of the bracket. All the first round matches went as probably everyone expected it. The wheels kind of fell off in those quarterfinals. First, it was Morrow beating Needles 3-1, and then some had, maybe not many. I know I did. I thought Leister from O&J would come out on top with Hodges, and I was wrong. Hodges was very impressive from top. He was able to control Leister on the mat, and was like I said, earned a 10-1 decision. So I'm wrong there, but we might see that Needles Leister rematch in a different round now in those wrestlebacks, because they're going to drop down and cross bracket together, so they could see each other tomorrow. Morrow and Hodges, I don't know what to expect. Morrow's it's contrasting body styles and contrasting wrestling styles at that. Hodges is real slick on the mat, and he was real tough and tying up wrists and keeping control of Leister. And he won 12-2 over Hayden Mann, tough freshman from Harry S. Truman. And that match was a lot closer. Hodges poured it on a little bit late. It was close going into the third. So, with what I saw, I think we're going to see a McNair Hodges final here, and I'm going to still stick with Kiwi McNair winning it. We look over at 145 pounds. I think the match of the quarters in this weight class was Shane Kibler and Noah Fisher from Boyertown. Again, it wasn't a match I got to see. When you're trying to film as many matches as possible, you don't get to see everything. So you're always trying to peek at matches while you're actually filming matches. And so, I was kind of watching this one, but people in the way, and moving to other mats to catch the next one I was looking to film. But Kibler, with the 3-1-7 victory over Noah Fisher, puts himself in the semis in the bottom half of the bracket against Connor Eck from Ben Salem, who was a 16-7 winner over McKinney from Oxford, and then major decision, tech fall over Alex Johns from Springford. On the top half, it kind of went as expected. You have Petroselli after pinning Nania. I know Red's going to be probably thinking that result isn't real, and pins Nani in 59 seconds, and then Tech Falls, Flanagan, and Hayes came out major decision over Robert English, and then a pin over Dylan LeJuice from Interborough. That those two, like I said, I felt they would wrestle future teammates at the University of Pittsburgh. So we'll see how that match goes. They've wrestled several times, and it's only gotten closer. I expect a tight match tomorrow. Both guys maybe a little bit tight, not want to make a mistake, and trying to do their best to get to the regional final. I want to make note of Interborough. Not only did they have a lot of qualifiers out of that South district. They were a team that made it a second day of district duels, but their fans showed out tonight. It was pretty cool. I mean, they're pretty far from Souderton. They had a lot of fans here. They're all wearing yellow shirts. So I just want to give them a shout. I thought that was pretty cool to see them out. I thought Strathaven came with a lot of fans too. So some of these programs that are like on the cusp and on the up, they got like a lot of hype surrounding them, and they're getting fans to come out and support them. So it was neat to see. When one of their guys won or was wrestling, there's a lot of buzz in the crowd from the area where they all sat together. So I thought I'd make note of that for their sake. That it doesn't go unnoticed, and that they're doing something special down there. And those two programs, they're definitely on the up, and programs that we'll should keep an eye on moving forward. Turn over to 152 pounds. Cam Robinson did some Cam Robinson things. 2 first period pins en route to making the semifinals. There he'll meet Dominic DiAgostino, sophomore from Interborough, and this one went pretty much the way I felt it would at the top, and Robinson, I think, will again punch his ticket to the finals. I guess I should backtrack. I still think Petroselli is going to win the regional title at 145. I didn't mention who I thought would win after what I saw tonight. We'll go back to 152, and then on the bottom half of that bracket, AJ Tamburino was again very methodical. Tech fall win over Stephen Lozano, and then an 11-1 major decision over Bo Horvath from Downingtown East. Jack McGill, same thing, pin over Tymir Bush, and then a 6-0 decision over Joel Martinovsky from Council Rock South. And Martinovsky had a big, convincing 5-0 win over Roberto Lesser from Harriton to start his day off. And then we have the 4 that were expected to make the semis here, and I think Robinson beats DiAgostino. I still think Tamburino beats McGill, and Robinson will beat Tamburino again for the regional title tomorrow night at 6 o'clock when those finals start. Looking at 160 had maybe the marquee match of the evening in the quarterfinals, and that was returning state qualifiers Connor Quinn and Dylan Sheehy, the returning regional champ at that, and Quinn beat him 6-4, turned him for 5, and then held on for a 6-4 win. He's going to wrestle Talon Pisarchik in the semifinals. Pisarchik with a pin over Bobby Hadrisco from Radnor, who was had some big wins. Was the runner-up from the South last week, and then Pisarchik pinned him and then pinned Desmond Perry. So, Perry won his first match 5-0 over Grant Euchre. Pisarcik, the magic maybe ran out for Desmond Perry, who pinned his way to the title last week at the South, including pinning Bobby Hidrisco. Down in the bottom half of the bracket, again, that fell the same way. I'm pretty sure everyone picked, and that was Collegiesi, winning by pin and then beating Roman Moser 3-0. And then James Lato with the two first period pins, one over Andrew Pulaski and the other over Xavier Cushman, to put himself in the regional semifinals. I still think Quinn wins and gets to the finals, and I said Collegiesi in my preview. I guess I'm going to stick to my guns on that. But it's two guys that are real tough on top, have a very interesting style. So we'll see who can impose their will. Lato's the senior, Collegiesi's just a sophomore. Maybe that maturity and that will play into a factor. But I'm going to stick with my original pick. I'm not going to flip flop, and I'm still going to go with Quinn in the finals because he just keeps finding ways to win close matches, and he avenged the loss of Sheehy earlier in the season. And so let's move on to 170 pounds. And Gunnar Spain with two solid wins, pinning Anthony Stevenson from Phoenixville, their lone regional qualifier in the first period, and then beating Mason Hale 8-4. Hale hung with them. Hale's just a freshman, and definitely a lot of upside. He hung with the guys top seed in the region, so that says something about him and his competitiveness. Then Alan Alexander, makes his way to the semifinals via a 8-5 win over Robert Glemser, and then Dylan Conlon with the upset over Liam Gray of Academy Park in sudden victory in that first round, and then Alexander beats him 10-3 and puts himself into that semifinal tomorrow. Romanelli, two first period pins, including a 23-second pin over Kevin Salmon from Wissahickon, and then pinned Lucas Doyle in 1:37. And his opponent will be Shane McAdams from Haverford High, with a pin of Mason Baldwin in the first period, and I believe he beat Austin Bowman like 8-3 or 8-1, something to that effect. It was something like that. That one match is also videotaped. That was a match I thought I'd picked Bowman to win. But I was really impressed with McAdams. His top game was he used that length to his advantage, very long levers, and able to put legs in and use it to prime Bowman over, and just he couldn't get off bottom. He even took top, and then going in the third period, if you watch the video back, he took top in the third after riding him, and Bowman had no answer for his top game. So it'll be interesting to see if he can get to his top game against Romanelli. Romanelli's a little bit different wrestler. I still think Romanelli's the guy to beat here. I'm still sticking to the fact that I think he's going to win it, but McAdams definitely changed my opinion of where he might fall in this bracket from here on out. I still think Spain beats Alexander and gets to the final, and it's going to be interesting to wrestle back in this weight class because as I said in the preview, it's just a lot of solid guys that you're going to have to really go head to head and just battle tomorrow. And it's gonna be fun. So as we go into 182 pounds, Milano, Joey Milano was Joey Milano, 30-second pin and a 2-minute 14-second tech fall over Jason Piscucci from the Chamonix. His opponent semis will be Gabe Federico. Federico was the champion from the South. He beat Jimmy Sinclair 8-2, and he beat Cash Artis 5-3 in sudden victory. He just pushed the pace on Artis, and Artis just gassed. He had nothing left in the tank to fight it off there in that overtime period. Then the bottom fell the way probably everyone picked it, and that's going to be Gianni Gilch against Maximus Hale. It should be noted Maximus Hale won his 150th match tonight with his first win of the night, 39-second pin, and then he had a 3-minute tech fall in the quarterfinals. Him and Gilch should be an interesting match. I don't see it being bonus points because Gilch is crafty. He's a veteran. He's a returning state qualifier. He's gonna go after Hale. So that match I think will be close. Milano, I expect a bonus point victory by him over Federico to get to the final. I'm still betting my house on Milano winning it. if barring any major crazy stuff that we did see here at could happen, but if healthy, it's Milano's weight class to lose, just like I said earlier with Keanu Manuel. We go over to 195. And this was a weight class that it was kind of hard to predict. You didn't know what it was because all these guys are beating each other, and today was no different. Davis Lee held true to his 1 seed. He makes the semifinals. Louis Carbajal comes out. He beats Kevin Figueroa from Oxford, and then he beats Quinn Collins from CB East. I believe that was the second time he's beaten him this season. He beat him earlier in a dual meet. Quinn Collins took out the champ from the South, Cole Root from Academy Park. You got Carbajal and Lee. I think Lee's a little bit more of a polished wrestler than Louis Carbajal, but Carbajal just brawls and he comes at you. He just finds ways to score points, and that's what he did in his 10-5 win over Quinn Collins. So, I'm not going to say all bets are off, but I still think it's Davis Lee, but Louis Carbajal is going to find a way to make it close. Down in the bottom half of the bracket, Ryan Kaka had a first period pin and then a 3-1 decision over Logan Green. He scored his points on escape and 2 stalling points against Logan Green. Green got to that quarterfinal with a first period pin. Kaka looked pretty good. He was able to push the pace. His gas tank looked good. Green didn't have the gas tank, and he was doing a lot of backing up, not a lot of shots, and as a result, those 2 stall calls really cost him the match. Carl DiGiorgio from Central Bucks West, 9-1 win and an 11-3 win over Avery Shivak. I believe Shivak and DiGiorgio have traded wins, if memory serves me correct, from my research earlier in the week, and that they were close matches, but DiGiorgio blew it open. Win by major decision down the stretch there. We'll see if Shivak's able to rally and overcome that in the wrestlebacks tomorrow. 220 pounds. Paulie DeSantos, the 1 seed in the bracket, he makes the semifinals. Second period pin in his first match, and he beats Logan Flynn from Hatboro in his second match in the quarterfinals. Beat a wrestler he's never beaten before, beat him 3-2. Had a nice re-attack at edge of the mat and to score points, and then parlayed that with an escape to get 3, and Flynn got 2 escapes to get his 2. His opponent will be Zach Van Horn from Pottsgrove, who had a pin and a 6-2 pin in his first match, and a 6-2 win over Matt Richardson from Chichester. So that match is going to be I think it's going to be one of the better ones in the semis too, because again, contrasting styles. Van Horn, if he's able to use his length on DeSanto, who's a shorter 220, it could be trouble for him. So I'm excited about seeing that match. And in the bottom half, Danny Eckley, who's a champ from the East, from CB East last week, he had a pin. Second period pin over Ray Willichek, and I was kind of surprised he pinned Dan Keller from Wissahickon. Actually kind of really put it on him, so that was surprising. His opponent's going to be Chase Milnick, who had 2 first period pins on the way, and again, I think this is Milnick's weight class. He's the best wrestler in his weight class, if I'm being honest. I think he wins against Eckley tomorrow. He's going to be a little bit too quick for Eckley, and he's strong to boot. And then same with whoever wrestles from the top half. So as we roll over to the big guys, we got Hunter Kaka with a tech fall and a pin to get to the semis. And his opponent, surprising, was one of the surprising upsets of that quarterfinal round, was Julian LaVenture beating Jeremy McGuigan from Quakertown 10-5. I said it in the preview. I believed and I thought that McGuigan was the second best heavyweight in this bracket behind Kaka. Proven wrong on that, but there's still some wrestling to be had tomorrow. I don't think LaVenture is going to beat Katka, so maybe those two do meet up again. McGuigan was, I think, trying to force it from a throw from his feet too much, or headlocks, and LaVenture was able to slip him every time, and knew it was coming. He game planned well. Hats off to Bob Martin and Dennis Mejas and that staff there at Upper Darby. They had a good game plan in place to combat what McGuigan wanted to do. So we look at the bottom half. Brogan was Sean Brogan from Springhorn was upset by Detrell Jerome in the first round. Got pinned in the first period. Max Harrar, who had a big 4-2 win over Hugh Lemon Kishi from Westchester East. Then Harrar then pinned Jerome in the second period. Maybe one of the biggest upsets of the first round was Matt McHale from Downingtown West pinning John Cluin from Ben Salem. I only saw the aftermath, but I heard it and immediately looked, and I heard the ooze, and then I heard the pound of the mat, the body's hitting the floor, as they say. And by the time I turned and identified where it was, the mat was being slapped, and McHale pinned Cluin. Then in the Mike Miller from Plymouth Whitemarsh pinned Vincent Corpolis, and then in ultimate tiebreaker rideout, Miller beat McHale. So your four semifinalists are Kaka, LaVenture, Harrar, and Miller. I'm still going Kaka. I still think it's going to be Kaka, Harrar in that final. That's what I got for you. Some great matches today. Seeing the best that the region has to offer here. It didn't disappoint. A lot of good wrestling. Long night. It's 10 to 11 right now. I'm just finishing up. You see there's no one in the gym here. And we got done with a lot of wrestling, about 5 hours. We just got done about 10:20, 10:30. And tomorrow's going to be action-packed. Starting off at 9:30, those wrestlebacks. There's going to be a lot of great matches in those early rounds. In the semifinals, there's going to be some really great matches to see as well. So I'm really looking forward to it tomorrow and coming out. And, if you're here, you're going to be in for a treat. If not, all of our semifinals will be taped, and they will be uploaded to the YouTube page on the next day. Same with the finals. So, keep an eye out for those if you can't make it out here tomorrow. Souderton did a nice job hosting it. It should be known that they did host a district playoff basketball game at 1:30 this afternoon. The game went to overtime, and they had the gym set up to go, ready to go here, cleaned and ready to go within an hour. So hats off to the volunteers and the help here at Souderton, and the work that they do, and the welcoming atmosphere they have for everyone. They did a phenomenal job, and it's nice having it here. It's a good venue. It's a little bit out of the way for some of the schools that are coming in from the south, but they do a really nice job at hosting it. So I want to give them a shout out as well for the job they did here. So folks, that's what we got. We'll stay tuned for some more tomorrow. Hopefully you get to see a lot of people out tomorrow for these semifinals, because like I said, you're going to see some matches in the semis that could be potentially regional finals in some years, and maybe even matches you see in the Blood Round States next weekend. That's just how tough we are at some weight classes here in Southeast PA. But that's all I got. Solo tonight, as you can see. I want to give a shout out to Glenn. Hope he's feeling better. Had surgery this week, so tomorrow we'll have some special guests doing some broadcasts. We'll have special guests doing post-match interviews with all the champs. So we have some new faces, some fresh blood coming in to help out and sit in and do some matches. It's gonna be fun. So thanks as always for tuning in. Thanks for everyone that came up and said that they watched the previews. It's you might not always agree, but I do appreciate people watching them, and it comes with some good conversation, especially the Sun Valley kids that came up and told me how wrong I was today. But it is what it is. That's part of the fun of it. It's all for entertainment. So thank you, and have a good night.